Logan Hayes was about to freeze to death. He was rubbing his hands but couldn't feel them anymore. He thought no one would stop until headlights pierced through the night and stopped beside him. The name behind the steering wheel? LeBron James. And in that moment, not just one man's fate changed, but hundreds of lives. It was a cold winter morning in Los Angeles. LeBron James was talking on the phone inside his black Range Rover while heading to an important meeting. The weather was cold, and the streets were full of people rushing to their destinations. "Yes, agreed. See you at the meeting at 10, said LeBron as he hung up the phone. Suddenly, something caught his attention. On the street corner, a man was sitting wrapped in a torn tracksuit and a worn blanket. Next to him was a cardboard sign written in bold letters, "Former sports coach, please help." LeBron immediately called out to his driver. "Stop, pull over," said LeBron. "But Mr. James, you have a meeting," said his driver. "The meeting can wait. I want to talk to that man," said LeBron with a determined voice. LeBron got out of the car. The icy wind hit his face, and despite closing his jacket tightly, he shivered inside. When people walking on the street recognized him, a brief murmur spread, whispers, surprised looks. But LeBron's eyes weren't focused on anything else, only on that man. The man was shivering, wrapped in his blanket on the corner of the sidewalk. He had lowered his head as if he wanted to become invisible. As LeBron approached, the man slightly raised his head. They made eye contact. There wasn't fear in his eyes, but resignation. LeBron paused for a moment. At that moment, the street seemed to fall silent, and in that silence, only the howling of the wind and Logan's barely audible breathing remained. LeBron slowly approached, kneeling down to eye level. "Hello," he said in a low voice, but with the determination he carried in his heart. "What's your name?" The man hesitantly raised his head. Logan Hayes," said Logan in a hoarse voice. "Logan, would you tell me your story?" asked LeBron. Logan tucked his trembling hands inside his worn blanket and took a deep breath. "I was a sports coach," Logan began in a tired and shaky voice. "For 15 years, I coached high school basketball teams. I loved the kids, raising them, helping them achieve their dreams," said Logan. LeBron listened carefully, his facial expression reflecting the weight of Logan's story. "But everything changed that day," Logan continued. "I was climbing the stairs at school. I had training equipment in my hands. Suddenly my foot slipped and—" said Logan. Logan's voice began to break. "I rolled down from the top of the stairs to the bottom. My spine was broken. The doctor said I would never be able to use my legs again. From that moment on, my life turned into hell," said Logan. He lowered his head, his eyes filled with tears. "I could no longer play sports. I couldn't coach kids anymore. My whole life was sports. I was sitting in a wheelchair and couldn't do anything," said Logan. "My wife, Sarah. At first she said she would support me, but she changed over time. She said Logan is not the same anymore. She said I'm not a caregiver and left me," said Logan. "I lost my job because I couldn't be a sports coach in a wheelchair. Debts accumulated," said Logan, tears streaming down his cheeks. "I lost my house. My family started seeing me as a burden. They said, 'We don't have the strength to take care of Logan,' and threw me out on the street," said Logan. "One day I found myself on the street, cold, hungry, and completely alone," said Logan, tears streaming down his cheeks. "No one extended a helping hand. It was as if I had become invisible. I used to raise children, teach them to chase their dreams, but now no one even sees me. Even my wheelchair was stolen last month," said Logan. LeBron's face became serious. Every word from Logan affected him deeply. "Last winter, while sleeping on the streets, the man next to me froze to death. He was disabled like me, too. When I woke up in the morning, he was still wrapped in his blanket. I told the people around to call the police, but it was too late," said Logan. Logan looked at LeBron, his eyes filled with pain. "What I fear most is that the same thing will happen to me one day, that someone will find me like that, too. I have no legs. I can't run. I can't protect myself," said Logan. LeBron took a deep breath. The weight of Logan's words could be read on his face. "Logan," said LeBron, his voice calm but filled with emotion. "A man like you should never be in this situation. You gave hope to young people. You raised them. This has to change," said LeBron. Logan looked in disbelief. "Will you really do something for me?" asked Logan. "Yes, Logan. You taught young people to chase their dreams. Now I'll help you get your dreams back," said LeBron without hesitation. LeBron took out his phone and called his assistant. "Book the nearest hotel and call a doctor," said LeBron decisively. Then he turned to his security. "Get hot food for Logan," said LeBron. He sat next to Logan and put his hand on his shoulder. "We're going to make you comfortable now," said LeBron. Within minutes, the security guard returned with a steaming bowl of soup and a sandwich. Logan hesitated at first, then took a bite. His eyes filled with tears. "I haven't had something warm to eat in so long," said Logan softly. LeBron stayed with him, said encouraging words, and made sure Logan finished his meal. With each bite, Logan seemed to come back to life. His color began to improve. A sparkle appeared in his eyes. "Sir LeBron, why are you doing this for me? I'm nobody," said Logan hesitantly. LeBron looked at Logan with a serious expression. "Logan, are you nobody? You're an educator who shaped young people's lives. Thanks to you and thousands of teachers like you, this country's future is being shaped," said the superstar. Logan's eyes filled with tears. These were words he hadn't heard in years. An hour later, a black SUV arrived. LeBron gently helped Logan into the car and took him to the hotel. When they arrived, Logan was provided with a hot shower, clean clothes, and a soft bed. For the first time in a long while, Logan felt his dignity. LeBron also arranged for a doctor to examine him and provide necessary care. Dr. Sarah Mitchell was surprised when examining Logan. "Mr. Hayes, how long have you been living in these conditions?" asked the doctor. 2 years, said Logan quietly. "Your body temperature is very low. There are signs of malnutrition. We also need to check the condition of your spine. Physical therapy may be needed," said Dr. Mitchell. Logan looked at the doctor with hope for the first time. "Can I walk again?" "Full recovery is difficult, but we can improve your mobility. Also, with modern wheelchairs, you can do many things. You can even return to sports coaching," said the doctor, smiling. Logan's face lit up. "Really?" "Of course. Coaching disabled athletes is a rapidly developing field," said the doctor. That night, Logan slept peacefully for the first time in months. A warm bed, clean sheets, and most importantly, hope of being a coach again. The next morning, LeBron met with Logan at a beautifully set breakfast table in the hotel dining room. "Logan, I've prepared a plan for you. There's an organization called Disabled Sports Foundation that helps disabled athletes. I'll connect you with them and I'll cover all your expenses for the first year," said LeBron, smiling. Logan's eyes widened. "Are you really doing this for me?" asked Logan. LeBron nodded. "Yes, Logan. For years you touched other people's lives. Now it's time for someone to touch your life," said LeBron. Logan's voice began to tremble. "But do I deserve this? Maybe my family was right. Maybe I really became a burden." "Logan, never think like that. You're just a person who needs help. This isn't shameful. Even the strongest people sometimes fall. What matters is getting back up," said LeBron in a firm but compassionate voice. These words resonated deeply in Logan's heart. For the first time in years, he felt like someone valued him. That day, Logan met with a representative from the Disabled Sports Foundation. The representative explained all the resources and support available to him: housing, job training, physical therapy, and disabled sports coaching education. LeBron gave Logan a check from his foundation to cover immediate expenses. Logan, with eyes full of gratitude, said, "This is like a miracle. I never thought my life could change this quickly," said Logan. As LeBron prepared to leave, he turned to Logan and said, "One day you'll have the chance to help someone else. This world becomes a better place when we extend our hands to each other," said LeBron. Logan, now with tears filled with hope, looked at LeBron and said, "I promise. One day I'll pay this kindness forward too," said Logan. 6 months had passed. Logan was now living in a safe home, receiving physical therapy and getting disabled sports coaching education. His life had completely changed. Thanks to his new technological wheelchair, he had become much more mobile. One day he called LeBron. "LeBron, I want to tell you something," said Logan, pride in his voice. "I'm listening, Logan," said LeBron. "I started volunteering as a coach at the Disabled Sports Foundation. I'm teaching basketball to disabled youth. Last week, I found a kid named Michael. Just like me before, he was in a wheelchair and hopeless, said Logan. LeBron smiled. What did you do? Asked LeBron. I told him my own story and taught him how to play basketball. Now, he's one of the best players on the team. You should see the light in his eyes, said Logan. You're amazing, Logan, said LeBron. I'm just giving back what I received. You gave me a second chance, now I'm giving it to others, said Logan. Logan, at first I only saw someone who needed help, but over time I realized you were already strong. I just helped you remember that, said LeBron. You know, LeBron, I can sleep at night now. I still hear my former students' voices, but they're not blaming me anymore. They see that I'm living a life that would make them proud, that I'm passing on what they taught me to other children, said Logan, smiling. These words deeply affected LeBron. Logan hadn't just saved his life, he had also healed spiritually. A year later, LeBron visited Logan at his new office at the Disabled Sports Foundation. Logan was now working as head coach for the organization. Logan, look how far you've come, said LeBron, looking at the change around him. All of this is thanks to you. But now this movement isn't just about me, said Logan. Logan showed LeBron a file. This year we provided sports education to 150 disabled youth. Each has a story, each has hope. Many are now playing on professional teams, said Logan. LeBron looked at the file. Inside were stories of young people with their before and after photos. This is incredible, Logan. You're really making a difference, said LeBron. We're making a difference. You gave me the beginning, and I grew it, said Logan. That day, Logan had prepared a special surprise for LeBron. A small ceremony was held in front of the foundation building. A sign reading, LeBron James Adaptive Sports Center, was unveiled. This center will be a sports education center for disabled youth. Your name will remain here as a symbol of hope, said Logan. LeBron was moved. Logan, this is incredible, but you're the real hero, said LeBron. LeBron turned to the camera and sincerely addressed the viewers. There are many people who need help. Let's not ignore them. Even a small gesture can change a life. Sometimes all it takes is one person to be a beacon of hope. We all have the power to make a difference. Logan's story shows us that a helping hand extended to one person can bring hope to hundreds, said LeBron. Logan, in a modern sports hall, was teaching basketball to children from his wheelchair, smiling hopefully toward the future. He now had a home, a purpose, and his regained dignity. 2 years later, Logan had become the director of the LeBron James Adaptive Sports Center. The center had helped hundreds of disabled youth. One evening, Logan was sitting in the center's sports hall, watching the children's training. LeBron joined him. Logan, do you sometimes think about that morning? Asked LeBron. Every day. That morning was the darkest moment of my life, but it was also my most hopeful moment, said Logan. Why? Asked LeBron. Because that day I learned that no matter how dark it gets, one person's extended hand can change everything, said Logan. Logan pointed to the children in the hall. Now 50 youth are training here. They're all making a new beginning. Some are preparing for the Paralympic Games, said Logan. And they all resemble your story, said LeBron. No, they all resemble our story. You gave me hope, and I'm giving it to them. This will continue, said Logan, smiling. That night, Logan made his daily routine phone calls. Every evening, he called the youth he trained, asking how they were doing. Jason, how are you? How was today's training? Asked Logan. Great, Logan. I broke a record today. The coach is thinking of making me team captain, said Jason joyfully. Emily, how are you? How's the competition preparation going? Asked Logan. Very good, Logan. The doctor said my technique has improved a lot. I'll compete in the national championship next month, said Emily. Each phone call reminded Logan of the value of his work. LeBron would sometimes stand at the center's door and watch Logan. The man who was once about to freeze to death on the street had now become a beacon of hope for dozens of youth. Logan's smile, his way of speaking, his approach to the youth, everything had changed so much. "You're much stronger than you could ever imagine, Logan. You didn't just survive, you're helping others achieve their dreams too," LeBron would think. LeBron's final words. Logan's story shows us that sometimes life's most beautiful miracles happen at the most unexpected moments. That cold winter morning, I thought I was just helping a disabled coach, but actually, we had started a movement. Today, the LeBron James Adaptive Sports Center hosts hundreds of disabled youth. Logan didn't just receive help, he became the helper. This is the power of hope. Remember, each of you has the power to change lives. Sometimes all it takes is stopping and seeing someone. "Let's spread hope and kindness together," said LeBron. Logan, sitting in his wheelchair in the modern sports hall, saw a young child enter through the door. Logan's eyes sparkled. Just like years ago when LeBron had welcomed him, his heart filled with love and hope. He approached and with a warm smile asked, "Hello, I'm Logan. What's your name?" At that moment, the cycle of the story had begun again. Hope, love, and support were being passed on to the new generation. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Together we can spread hope, kindness, and the power of compassion. Remember, even the smallest act of love can change someone's life forever. Thank you for watching.